Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt like your networking efforts are just vanishing into a black hole, or you're spending literally hours sending messages that get totally ignored, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down the blueprint for an automated AI outreach engine. We're going to explore a highly structured methodology that completely transforms how you scale professional relationships. Instead of relying on all that exhausting manual labor, we are building a step-by-step system that leverages your existing network to connect you with high-net-worth individuals, top-tier mentors, and key investors. Let's kick things off with a pretty provocative question. Why aren't you getting in front of the mentors and investors you actually admire? It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, I'm just not good enough yet, or my pitch isn't polished. But honestly, usually, the real reason is purely tactical. You are failing to connect with your heroes because you're trying to aggressively kick down the front door. You're joining a crowd of thousands, all shouting for the exact same person's attention. What we need to do is stop kicking, take a step back, and find the side door that's actually already open to you through your existing network. So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll unpack that front door versus side door concept. Then, we'll dive into the social graph hack. After that, we'll walk through step 1, which is ChatGPT research, followed by step 2, Claude copywriting. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a 300% rule. All right, let's jump right into section 1, front door versus side door. The paradigm shift we have to make here is absolutely stark. See, the traditional front door method involves blasting cold, direct messages to complete strangers. Think about how exhausting that process is. It feels like pestering, right? And it relies entirely on a sheer numbers game, just sending 100 messages and praying for one pity reply. Plus, the manual research it takes to cross-reference LinkedIn profiles, find shared interests, and draft personalized messages, that takes human teams weeks to do. It is draining. Now, the side door approach replaces all that chaos with strategic, targeted analysis. You leverage the 1 or 2 degrees of separation you already have. By running this through our AI engine, you turn weeks of grueling manual deep research into an automated process that literally takes minutes. Which brings us to section 2, the social graph hack. The very first step to unlocking this side door is conducting what the sources call a friendventory. But before you even start, you've got to mentally drop the energy vampires from your circle. You know, those people who only take from you? Okay, so a friendventory is a systematic, intentional audit of your current social circle. Most of us are sitting on an absolute goldmine of connections without even realizing it. To actually execute this, you need to actively look at your top connections and figure out who has overlap with the industries or the specific people you're trying to reach. You map out who knows who. A thorough friendventory is going to help you realize that you're probably only 1 or 2 degrees of separation from the exact person who could completely change the trajectory of your career. Now, before we even touch the AI tools, we absolutely must establish the value-first philosophy. Look, you can have the most advanced technology in the world, but relationship architecture is fundamentally built on mutual respect. You have to offer genuine value to your mutual friend before you ever ask them for a favor or an introduction. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it could be sharing an insightful article that's highly relevant to their current project, or maybe thoughtfully congratulating them on a recent professional win, or even just offering a piece of advice they've been looking for. If you skip this crucial human step, you will completely burn the side door before you even get a chance to walk through it. Okay, let's look at the workflow. The methodology here treats artificial intelligence as a 2-part engine. We don't just use one AI model for everything, because different models have entirely different training strengths. We're acting as architects here, assigning specific roles based on those unique linguistic and analytical capabilities. So step 1 is the research phase, which is handled exclusively by ChatGPT, and step 2 is the copywriting phase, which we assign to Claude. Let's break that down. Section 3, Step 1, ChatGPT research. To map out your network effectively, you can't just use generic requests. If you simply ask an AI to find people, you're going to get useless, broad data. Instead, we use a highly specific strategy called pull prompting. This means directing the AI to analyze mutual followers on platforms like LinkedIn or X. Now, you might be wondering, how do I actually feed the AI this data? It's pretty simple. You can easily export your LinkedIn connections into a CSV file or literally just copy and paste mutual follower lists from X right into the chat window. By feeding it structured data and using a pull prompt, you're treating ChatGPT not as some basic search engine, but as an advanced strategic thinking partner that can cross-reference hundreds of data points instantly. Here is the exact quote from the sources. I want to connect with target name, analyze my social graph, look at mutual followers on LinkedIn or X, and tell me the 5 people I already know who are best positioned to introduce me. This exact script right here, it's your secret weapon. Let's break down why this specific structure works so beautifully. By explicitly commanding the AI to analyze your social graph and those specific mutual followers, you're giving it incredibly narrow parameters. Analyzing mutual followers is the secret sauce because it mathematically proves that a pre-existing bridge exists. You are turning weeks of agonizing manual human research into a few minutes of highly targeted, perfectly synthesized AI analysis. Notice the specific number in that prompt, 5. Why not ask for 20 names or 50? Well, the psychology of limiting the output to the exactly 5 targets is actually profound. Asking an AI for 100 names creates instant cognitive overload and puts you right back into that exhausting front door numbers game we talked about earlier. 5 creates intense focus. It forces the AI to rank and prioritize the absolute strongest pathways, giving you 5 highly qualified, deeply strategic side doors to walk through.
Moving right along to Section 4, Step 2, Claude Copywriting.
Once we have our 5 highly qualified targets clearly identified by ChatGPT, we take those names and seamlessly hand them over to our specialized copywriter, Claude. So why switch models here? Well, because high-stakes introductions require an incredibly precise, natural, and human tone. And Claude is widely recognized for its superior ability to handle subtle tone and nuance without sounding overly robotic. The goal here is to ask Claude to generate what are known as frictionless templates. These messages need to be short, concise, and crisp. A truly frictionless template doesn't ask the mutual friend to do any heavy lifting or explaining. It clearly states the mutual value, provides a one-sentence context, and is so incredibly well written that all your mutual friend has to do is literally copy-paste and hit send.
By cleanly separating the research function and the copywriting function into this 2-part automated engine, you fundamentally change your entire professional role. You elevate yourself from a traditional doer, a manual laborer wasting hours doing guesswork and drafting awkward pleading messages, to a system director. Take a second to let that shift sink in. The empowerment that comes from stepping back and letting the AI do all the heavy lifting is massive. You are now the director, managing highly profitable AI team members to generate high-conversion scripts effortlessly, while you focus purely on the high-level strategy. This leads us to our final section, Section 5, the 300% rule. To keep your newly built outreach engine running smoothly over the long term, you've got to adopt a psychological framework known as the 300% rule. This demands unwavering consistency. Here's the breakdown. You need 100% clarity on your goal, 100% belief that you can achieve it, and you must maintain that 100% belief 100% of the time. Now, why does this exact math matter? Because if you have even 99% belief, that tiny 1% of doubt will bleed into your execution. It's going to cause you to hesitate before sending that Claude template or make you second-guess the ChatGPT research. Absolute certainty in your networking goals is absolutely required to sustain this engine. This specific mindset completely reframes the whole concept of rejection. Under the 300% rule, getting a no is never categorized as a failure. It is simply a valuable redirection toward a superior path. It's tangible proof that you actually had the courage to execute a high-stakes strategic move. But more practically, every no provides invaluable data for the engine. Think about it. If a mutual friend declines to make the introduction, that is a data point. You take that feedback, adjust your prompt parameters in ChatGPT, or you ask Claude to soften the tone of the next template, the engine just gets smarter with every single interaction. The source material repeatedly emphasizes this incredibly powerful mantra: motion beats motivation every single day. Think about how dangerous it is to rely solely on motivation. Waiting around for some fleeting internal feeling of inspiration to send out networking requests is a guaranteed losing game. Motivation fades. But a structured, automated AI system, your newly built engine, that provides continuous, reliable motion, once this engine is built, running it takes just a few minutes a day, completely removing the need to ever feel motivated again. The system just carries the momentum right for you. So you now have the complete blueprint. You know exactly how to use ChatGPT's analytical power to map your social graph and identify those side doors, and you know how to leverage Claude's nuanced language model to write perfectly frictionless templates. The question is, are you going to keep kicking down the front door, exhausted and acting as a manual doer? Or are you ready to build this engine, command your network, and finally step into the role of director? The choice and the tools are entirely in your hands.